Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's class. Yes, I understand that it's 5:30, but I have a few minutes between patients, and I figured that this would be a great opportunity for us to talk about our class, sitting. Is it really the new smoking? So you see that I have my earbuds in and my microphone, and my niece was asking, well, why do you have two? Well, we are going live on Facebook right here, and then on this one is for YouTube, where I'm going to be uploading that one later. Now, I ask a bunch of you, please, 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 on Facebook, go over to YouTube, search for My Family Chiropractic, and subscribe to that one, because if we can get enough followers on there, subscribers on there, then I can do my lives on there as well. And I have a lot of patients that are kind of using that YouTube platform more. So this will definitely help all of us in the long run. And the problem right now is when I go to upload on YouTube, it can take a day or two for it to upload. If I can do it live, it's just there. So please, please, please go over to YouTube to My Family Chiro, or My Family Chiropractic. It looks just has our logo on it, so the Michigan with MI and then Family Chiropractic underneath of it. Go ahead and subscribe to that. If you're still curious, this is the logo I'm talking about right here. And if you're on YouTube, you already know it's right there, right? So that's the logo we're talking about. Look for that, subscribe. Now, let's get to tonight's class. Is sitting really the new smoking? And the answer to that is yes and no. Okay, so yes, it's the new smoking in the sense that we're learning more and more about a sedentary lifestyle, right? If you sit down once in a blue moon, no, it's not a problem, okay? If you get home from work and you sit down for an hour and watch the TV, no, that's not a problem. If you are spending only an hour active, yes, it's a problem, okay? And the reason why they're comparing it to smoking, it has nothing to do with cancer, which is what most of you think, and that's why they're using it, because it's a huge buzzword, right? But it has to do with the fact that when you are leading a sedentary lifestyle, your risks of having further complications increases. So your risks of diabetes mellitus increases significantly. Your risk of heart disease increases significantly. Your increase of weight gain increases significantly. And when those go up, then other things, risks of cancers and things like that, go up. It's not a correlation like smoking is, as far as smoking has a direct link to causing lung cancer, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it increases your morbidity rate, and therefore it increases your risks of having other issues. So let's talk about what you can do to avoid these. Well, you can have 30 minutes of sustained moderate exercise 5 to 7 days a week. Well, what is that? Go for a walk, okay? You want to walk at a brisk pace. So don't think about walking a dog who's going to stop every 100 feet and smell the roses, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a sustained walk. So how far does it take you to do half an hour? Well, typically it's about a mile. Maybe it's a little bit, maybe it's a brisker walk. For me, in a half an hour, I can go about 1.5 miles to 2 miles, right? Now, if you're going at a jog, it would be basically a 5K, okay? I don't like jogging. Why? It increases the amount of force upon the spine, and that increases risks of degeneration and arthritic formation. So I'm not a big fan of that, okay? However, walking, especially if you do power walking, and this is where you always have contact with the ground. I know that seems a little bit weird to talk about, but your heel is on the ground, then the sole of your foot, then your toe, and before your toe comes off, the heel of your other foot is already on the ground, okay? So you're always in motion and always in contact with the ground. Jogging, however, you're actually finding a point through that where you're actually off contact, or you don't have contact, you're above contact with the ground. Same with running. So jogging, you're not really having too much of a jarring force, but you're having 3 to 6 times depending on how you're running. If you're jogging downhill, it's more. If you're jogging uphill, it's less. Flat surface, it's different too. So 3 to 6 times your body weight every time your heel hits the ground. Okay. Running, 6 to 9 times your body weight. Okay. Running downhill or running downstairs is 9 times your body weight. So if you're a bigger guy like I am and you're 250 pounds, well, 9 times is over a ton of weight, literal ton, shocking through your system if you're running. Okay. If you're walking, it's 1 to 2 times your body weight. Maybe as much as 3 if you're power walking down a hill. Well, that's not bad, right? Think about that. It's not nearly as bad. Now, we could talk about other things. Swimming is about half your body weight in compressive forces because you're in a gravity neutral type position, right? Or gravity neutral situation. So that's absolutely fantastic. And right now, it's beautiful out there. Go out to the lakes and take a swim, right? For those of you that watch from other states, in Michigan, we don't have anything that's going to kill you in the lakes. So a lot of our patients enjoy this time of year when the weather is screaming hot. It's 85 to 90 degrees out. They jump in the lake and there's nothing that's going to come up and bite their toes. So that's kind of a nice thing. If you don't have access to the lake, in the state of Michigan, you're no more than 5 miles from a body of water. So you can probably find something. Also, there are pools and things of that nature, like that the YMCA in Traverse or East Jordan here has at the school. They have a swim club that meets. So you could do something like that. What about riding a bike? Well, ride a bike. Sure, ride at a good pace. Be at the point where you are laboring slightly for breath, meaning that you can carry on a conversation, but instead of carrying on a conversation like you would being able to spew things for, hours, you're having to take a breath every few words. But you're still able to carry on a conversation. That's a good idea of where moderate exercise falls, okay? So biking is about 1.5 times your body weight, okay? Now it can be up to 3 or 5 times depending on those shocks through the seat and what have you. So, but if you come up off of the seat when you're about to hit a big bump, then that's going to really, really lower the impact to your spine because your legs are bent, so you're causing a shock absorption there. Versus running, when you're coming down on a fairly straight leg, and that causes that shock to go all the way up. Okay, so 1.5 to maybe 3 times the body weight when you're on a bicycle. So think about that. You can get a lot more exercise in 30 minutes. And if you do that 5 days a week, 7 maybe, but at least 5, how hard is that? Well, what I like to do is I take Pixie for a walk, okay? And we go around the block. If we go around the block twice, that's 30 minutes, right? Does she, now in this heat, do I do that with her? No, okay? She is definitely a cold weather dog, and so I pay attention to that. I don't force her to go out on this pavement and whatnot. However, I still go for a walk, right? I get out. And yes, I'm a bigger guy, right? We can see this. I'm a bigger guy. However, I'm not nearly as big as I used to be, guys. I've dropped over 100 pounds, okay? Why and how? Why? Because I want to be healthier. I want to be here for my patients. I want to be here for my nieces, my nephews, right? My family. And I want to lead by example. So when we're looking at things like, how much weight did I lose? How did I do it? By doing the things I'm telling you guys about right now. I did it simply by making better choices in my food. Check out my class on Healthify Your Meals. I did it by exercising a little bit more. I did it by, which would be this class and a few others, right? Stretches is a really good class to watch too. I did it by limiting my soft drinks. So looking at the class Y water, that's another thing. So, I just applied the things that I talk to you guys and tell you guys to do. I am leading by example. Am I the spitting image of health? No. Do I ever expect to get down to, because I'm a 6 foot, down to about 175, 180 pounds? The answer is no. Okay, I don't plan to ever get that low. Why? Because when I have weighed down there at this height or close to that, I look emaciated. Okay, I carry a lot more weight with muscle and things of that nature. So here's the kicker. I don't care how much you weigh. It doesn't mean that you are morbidly obese. BMI is BS. It is a pure guessing situation. It does not take into account true fat. Okay? So I know of one person who got called into the military, called back in. Okay? This was just shortly after 9/11. He was called back into the military and he was asked to come back in, and they go through, tape is what they call it, which is basically BMI. They look at your height and your weight. And he was 5 foot, I think he's 5'5", and he was 240 pounds. Well, he was morbidly obese, according to BMI. Put him morbidly obese, okay? Now, here's the kicker. He was 6% body fat. 6% body fat. Where is he going to lose it? The man was built absolutely solid muscle, okay? So here's the thing. BMI, I don't agree with. I don't like because it doesn't take into account your actual fat versus muscle ratio. Water immersion testing is probably the most accurate you can possibly get. It's not easy to do and it's hard to find, okay? So my biggest thing is look at your measurements. Look at your waist, look at your chest, look at your biceps, your thighs, ankles, wrists, things of that nature, neck, okay? Yes, you should measure yourself and weigh yourself, right? But you shouldn't do it every day, okay? When you do this, it should be the same time in the same manner. So, what do I mean by this? I mean, if you're going to weigh yourself, let's say you get up in the morning and you're going to start this and you're going to do this every Monday, the first Monday of the month, okay, which would be about as much as I want you to really truly weigh yourself. So the first Monday of the month, well, you're going to get up, you're going to go and have your constitution, right? You're not going to ingest anything and you're going to be naked, okay? And you're going to weigh yourself with no clothes before you jump in the shower, because water weighs something, right? And so if you do that in the same manner every single time, you'll know whether you are trending to lose weight or trending to gain weight. I am doom scrolling here and I see this young man. He started out 600 and some pounds on his weight loss journey. He got down to 497, and he's back up to 519. And he's exercising and he's doing so much more and he's very discouraged. Well, guess what? 5 pounds of fat is a lot larger mass than 5 pounds of muscle. And when you start to break things down, especially if you go through lipolysis or breaking down fat, a lot of times water is retained, and so you have this thing called edema. Okay, and when you're that big as this guy is, edema is a regular thing. So he's gaining water weight. He's losing fat, but he's gaining water weight. Okay, and that can get dangerous if you gain too much of that, because then it can lead to conditions like cellulitis, a few other things. But that's for your medical doctor to deal with, okay? So if you are really, really big and you're trying to lose weight, the best way to keep it off is to keep moving, eating healthy, drinking water, and being consistent. Okay? Moving 30 minutes a day, 5 to 7 days a week. And we're talking consistent moving, okay? Now, can you move an hour? Absolutely. Can you move 2 hours? Sure. I wouldn't do it all in one fell swoop, but maybe go half hour in the morning, half hour at lunch, and maybe go for an hour walk at dinner or after dinner. That'd be fantastic, right? Absolutely fantastic. Or maybe do a half hour walk in the morning and do a hour bike ride midday and a half hour walk at night. Fantastic if you have the opportunity to do that. Movement is key. So is sitting really the new smoking? The answer is no, right? It's a buzzword. It gets you, right? But it is causing, in large amounts of sitting, just like large amounts of eating Oreos or large amounts of alcohol or whatever, it's always going to be bad for you, okay? Even large amounts of exercise can be very bad for you, okay? Even large amounts of water can be very bad for you. So the kicker with this is look at what is the best amount for you and how can you achieve the best healthy outcomes. You know one of the best ways? Get in and see your chiropractor. Talk to them about what's the best way that they can help you to be healthier. And you know what? If you make it here, I'll gladly help you. I'll help you because I'll show you the way, right? So, I wish you all take something from this, are not discouraged by this, and that are hopeful. I want to lift you up in hope and show you that it is possible. And if you have questions, leave them in the comments below, okay? I'm here to help. That is my goal for you. So, I wish you all a beautiful evening. It is now 5:45. I hope you guys are going to have a very healthy dinner. I'm going to have some asparagus, some mashed potatoes, and some protein. So I'm hoping you have a good, healthy meal as well. And as always, I'll see you later this week and early next week for your adjustments. Thank you and good night.